What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you stopping by for the first time, if you see something that you like here today, please don't forget to subscribe at some point. Those of you stopping by that have been here before, welcome back to TLTG Reviews, my friends. Glad you came see me. So, one I've been wanting to do for a while, kind of an updated list to a video I did last year. Felt like it was time. People ask me all the time what some of my favorites are, and I don't have all of them. Do have a lot, don't get me wrong. But I figured we'd cover 7 cheap alternative fragrances to Creed Aventus. Stay tuned. So, very replicated, very duplicated, very expensive, but a very popular DNA. There's a lot of alternatives out there when it comes to Creed Aventus, and here are 7 of my favorites. So starting off with the first one is one that I tend to forget that I have sometimes, and I do thoroughly enjoy it. I did do a full review earlier in the year on this one, and it's from Mercedes-Benz. It's Mercedes-Benz Select. So this is no pineapple and no real smokiness to it. This is more bergamot and ambroxan and black currant. Beautiful sprayer on this. And a lovely smell. It really is. For being so ambroxan heavy, it's actually a smooth ambroxan. Really thoroughly enjoy the way this one smells. Performance is not a real big thing for it. 5 to 6 hours at best, but you can definitely refresh. This is a lighter, airier, more citrusy version of the DNA. Essentially, it's more bergamot, ambroxan, and black currant is mainly what you're going to get from this one. Like I said, it smells very good. Not overly synthetic for being so ambroxan heavy. It does smell great, and you can have a tester without the cap, sub $30 range, and right around $30 with the cap. And it has a beautiful bottle presentation. I mean, essentially, that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. The juice is what matters. In my opinion, it's a great smell for somebody looking for an alternative to Creed Aventus that doesn't smell exactly like Creed Aventus. And that's Mercedes-Benz Select. Next is one that you may not be expecting. Another cheapie, you know, mid-20s, lower 20s. Very easy to get your hands on. Has about the same performance, maybe a little bit better than Mercedes-Benz Select. And has a similar scent profile. It's from Tonino Lamborghini. It's Invincible. That Lamborghini bull on the top. Decent atomizer too. And like I said, has a similar scent profile, a little bit richer. You know, definitely has the pineapple. This is closer to a Creed Aventus smell than Mercedes-Benz Select is. But once it starts to dry down, I find it has a more similar profile to Mercedes-Benz Select. But it's definitely, you can tell they were going in the route and going down the lane of Creed Aventus. And like I said, this is one you can get in that 25 or below range. Decent performer, about 6 hours. It smells very good. It really does. Something different from a car company. Something from a different car company than what you usually used to. You hear people talk about Ferrari, Mercedes-Benz, obviously, Bentley. You don't really hear a lot about the Lamborghini fragrances. And trust me, not all of them are worth even checking out. But I can tell you, Invincible is definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a good cheap alternative Creed Aventus, because it definitely does the job without smelling identical to Creed Aventus. This isn't a clone. This is definitely an inspired by alternative to Creed Aventus, and a decent cheapie at that, and this Tonino Lamborghini Invincible. Next is a very popular one that, for me, I have to get through the opening. I don't like the opening on this fragrance. I don't. And I will admit, the dry down is beautiful, and it does smell like Creed Aventus in the dry down. I only have a decant. It's Mont Blanc Explorer. I'll put the bottle right here on the screen so you guys can see. Like I said, this opening, I'm actually going to spray it on my hand. I'm just not a fan of the opening. I find it worse than Club de Nuit Intense Man. You know, people complain about how harsh that opening is. I enjoy the opening on that one. And this isn't horrible. It doesn't, you know, it's not tormentuous for me to smell it. It's not horrendous. I don't find it stinky and disgusting or anything like that. Something just doesn't jive with my skin in the opening. I'm not sure which oil is doing that. But after about 30 minutes, when this thing starts to enter that transitional phase and, you know, bring out some of those heart notes, it really changes. It really starts to smell like Creed Aventus. And right now that initial blast is already starting to calm down. This is a very popular one. One that eventually I may have to get a bottle, but the first 2 times I tried wearing it, that's why there's not a real huge dent in this decant. It kind of put me off. Even though I know the dry down's great, the opening really put me off. But I gotta give it its due. It's very popular for a reason, because the dry down is beautiful. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is the dry down. The opening's meant to grab people. The dry down's meant for you to enjoy. This doesn't do it for me in the opening, but there's a lot of people that swear by Mont Blanc Explorer, that love how beautiful it is. And if you can get past that opening, it might just be my skin and the way it reacts. Yeah, because it's starting to change already. The black currant and the birch is starting to come up. Yeah, it's starting to smell more and more like Creed Aventus. You know, like I said, it's once you get past that opening, for me anyways, this turns into a beautiful fragrance. And that's Mont Blanc Explorer. Not the cheapest one on the list, in the $40 range. You can get them online. But like I said, not really that expensive. $10 more than what I usually classify as a cheapie. Cheapies for me are usually $30 and below. This is in that $40 range for a 100 ml. It's a pretty good fragrance, like I said, if you get past that opening, and that's Mont Blanc Explorer. Now, speaking of openings and Club de Nuit Intense Man, my favorite among Creed Aventus type fragrances. This is a clone of Creed Aventus, but in my opinion smells better than Creed Aventus. I don't mind the opening on this one, and the dry down is an absolute beauty. This is powerful. This is a must-have for everybody, in my opinion. You know, it's one that I thoroughly enjoy, that I cherish this bottle. It's an early 2018 batch. From what I understand, the batches matter with this, just like they do with Creed Aventus. I haven't tried any of the newer batches. I've never tried one of the silver atomizers, but I'll tell you what, from what I can tell, it don't matter. Just get one and you'll enjoy it. You can have them in that sub $30 range for these. It's a little over 100 ml. Forgot what size it is. I think it's a 3.6 ounce if I remember correctly. A little bit more, like a 105 milliliters. Strange size. But this is a great fragrance. It smells beautiful and it performs, and it's a compliment machine. This pulls more compliments than the actual Creed Aventus does. This is one I strongly urge you get your hands on if you're looking for a fantastic alternative to Creed Aventus, and a cheap one at that. Next, this is another one in that $20 range. You can get a 100 ml, and this is kind of a lighter, muskier take. In the opening, smells like Aventus all the way through, but it smells like the musk is kind of amped up, at least off of my skin, and that's from Rayon Tradition. It's Insurrection Pure 2. This is some good stuff too. 5 to 6 hours, nothing crazy on performance, but like I said, I find this to be even better suited for summer than most of what's on this list. It's a lot lighter. The apple's a bit more pronounced, and like I said, it's a lighter, cleaner musk that's really pronounced in this one, at least off of my skin to my nose. I think for 20 bucks, this is kind of a must-have, even if you have 3 or 4 other fragrances that are in that Aventus DNA family. I think this falls right into the rotation with, if you love the Aventus DNA and the Aventus type smell, and you want a lighter, summery take that still has the pineapple and the birch, pineapple and the smokiness, get Insurrection Pure 2. This is a damn good one. And like I said, it's right in that $20 range, not breaking the bank. I'll have FragranceNet link below. You can find pretty much all of these below with the 35% off coupon code. Like I said, it's light, it's airy, it's a little bit muskier take. If you like a little bit muskier fragrances, you'll probably love this one, because that's how I would deem it, a lighter, muskier Aventus, and that's Insurrection Pure 2. Rayon Tradition. Next, another cheapie that when you find them at the rack stores, they're always cheap. It's $13 to $15 for the individual bottle, around 20 bucks for a gift set, even when they're not on clearance. When they're on clearance, even cheaper. Another one, performance isn't that great, you know, 3 to 4 hours for some if you can find the eau de parfum, which is more readily available than the eau de toilette, which this is. I got about 5 hours with the eau de parfum, which is still not good enough, but the scent alone is gorgeous. This is from English Laundry. This is London. This is the eau de toilette. I do have the eau de parfum as well. This has a blackberry note instead of black currant. And look, performance is an issue, but this smells great. And for what you can get these for, it's worth having. This one is fruitier. Still a little smoky, but it's real fruity. That blackberry adds something different to the DNA. English Laundry is good about taking a popular DNA and putting their own spin to it. Prime example, Cambridge Night. They take Invictus and they add Lily of the Valley and Black Currant and mature it up a little bit. And lessens the sweetness. It's gorgeous. Riviera heightens the sandalwood. Takes the YSL Loam DNA and heightens the sandalwood. This takes the Creed Aventus DNA, removes the Black Currant bitterness that it's known for, which is beautiful, and makes a fruity blackberry note to take its place. Like I said, 3 to 4 hour fragrance, nothing special. You definitely have to refresh, but man, it smells good every time you got to refresh it. English Laundry London is a beautiful smelling, fruitier take that's unique because of that blackberry note when it comes to Creed Aventus inspired or clone type of fragrances. Not a clone by any means, but definitely inspired by Creed Aventus, and that's English Laundry London. Cheapie Gold. And last but most certainly not least, you know, aside from our Moth, these are all inspired by and not direct clones. Insurrection Pure is kind of a clone. And then same thing with our Moth. I mean, they add that lemon to the opening that's not there in Creed Aventus. So there's a little difference to each one of these. This is straight up clone. And this is actually a blend of Aventus and Aventus cologne. This is my favorite clone of all the Aventus clones from these smaller clone houses that I've tried. You know, not trying to hurt anyone else's feelings. You all do great work. But when it comes to double Aventus from SCENTual Obsessions, this is my favorite. Blended Aventus, and straight up, because you add the Aventus cologne DNA, the fruitier, muskier take with the smokier Aventus oils that he uses from SCENTual Obsessions, it makes a great, lovely, fruity and smoky. Heightens both sides of the spectrum for Aventus. This is some really good stuff. You can get this in an extrait de parfum concentration now. This is the eau de parfum concentration. I like to spray this one when I use my my Aventus shave soaps and aftershaves. I like to do one spray on my chest with this to really bring that Aventus smell out. God, it smells so good in the air. I have SCENTual Obsessions linked below if you want to check out their website as well. This is one of their best sellers because it's such a good fragrance. It's a great blend. I advise getting this over just the standard Aventus or the standard Aventus cologne. Double Aventus is definitely the way to go, and one of the better smelling Aventus clones that's out there, in my experience anyways. And you can get them cheap for sure. So once again, that's SCENTual Obsessions, Double Aventus. Well, that's my 7 picks, guys. Now, I haven't tried Supremacy Silver from Afnan. I will get that. I do plan on getting that soon. I've heard that's a great one as well. I've been itching to try that one. I'm going to get my hands on it. I do have several others. Alt fragrances. Shoot, I got a lot of them. Lady in Red International. There's a lot that could have went in here, but I wanted to pick my 7 favorites. The lucky number is 7, and I figured 7 was the way to go, so I went with my 7 favorites because Explorer has definitely grown on me because the dry down is so beautiful on that one. It's just, I'm still trying to get past that opening. And until next time, guys, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. How many of these do you have or have you been itching to try? Yeah, see, there's that dry down really coming in. The heart notes in the early dry down from Mont Blanc Explorer. You get past that opening, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful fragrance. And until next time, I will say, if you get your hands on any of the fragrances, the Creed Aventus alternatives or clones that we discussed here today, you give them a spray now, I'm pretty confident you'll thank me later. And you're going to save a bunch of money to still smell like Creed Aventus. Have a good one, guys.